So a lot of you guys know I have been getting back into a passion of mine, which was something that I enjoyed ever since I was a little kid, and that is professional wrestling. And if you watch the Smart Way Out streams, you know I'm starting to get way back into wrestling. It's been like years and years since I really got into it. Only last year was when I truly started to grow that love again. And it's always fun to do that, to reflect back on something you really loved and see if it still holds up. And oh my god, as a 24 going on 25-year-old man, professional wrestling holds the fuck up. And when it comes to professional wrestling, I can't just leave it at one video. There's so much that I can talk about when it comes to the whole art of professional wrestling, or the medium of professional wrestling, that I feel like I gotta make a series out of it. So, with that said, this series is just gonna be me talking about wrestling. There's not much really other than that. It's just going to be whatever I want to do. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about when it comes to like promotions, pay-per-views, title superstars and stuff like that, let's make that happen. I want to do a series like that. But with that said, I figured this episode to kind of give a sort of grassroots explanation of my taste in wrestling. I'm going to give you guys a couple of my favorite superstars in wrestling today, whether it be just professional wrestlers, indie wrestlers, legends out there on the wrestling scene. Those would be the ones I would kind of tell you about, and I figure we can start from there. So, with that said, these are some of my favorite wrestlers. We're gonna go on to one of the more recent ones that I've really been into, AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a TNA veteran, but he made his name in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and from there he finally went on to WWE this year, actually. Like, he just got to WWE at the Royal Rumble, which if you watch the Royal Rumble and you saw that pop when he came out, you know he's going to be something amazing. Like, he legitimately is one of the best wrestlers out there, and everyone acknowledges that. Like, as much as the company is trying to push Roman Reigns to be the guy, one day AJ Styles will be the guy, and it's going to be amazing because he's earned it. AJ Styles he went from TNA, he went to Ring of Honor, he was all over the place, basically, but he was known for being the guy in the Bullet Club. He was introduced to the Bullet Club, which is a stable. NWO meets D-Generation X. Like, those two combined is what it really is. And it's one of those groups that, like, if you're in the Bullet Club, you're going to be well known, which is why there's so many guys over there who are like, okay, we know these guys are going to be good wherever they go. My favorite match of his was actually from this year. Before he left for WWE, he faced Shinsuke Nakamura at their WrestleMania Wrestle Kingdom, which happens every January, and it went on, I believe, almost last, or it went on last because of how hype of a match it was. I would easily say that match is one of the best matches of the year, like, bar none, except for one match which is on this list, but we'll get to that when we get down the list. So up next, we have another guy who was in WWE for a while. He unfortunately did not make the cut. He was in NXT for a bit. Chris Hero, otherwise known to those who watched NXT, Cassius Ohno. He is what he calls himself, a knockout artist, and his finishing move is basically a roaring elbow to the back of the head. Every time you see that, you fucking know it's gonna hurt. For a guy his size, he really is good in the ring. Like, he's like 250 plus pounds in the ring, but he's got a versatile moveset. Like, he knows what he's fucking doing. Like, I just saw him, like, the other day doing a fucking Hurricane Rana or Frankenstein or whatever you want to call it. But, good God, like, he really knows how to work a ring. But my favorite match of Chris Hero's is his versus Pentagon Jr. in AAW. Indie promotion, but it was during their Windy City Classic, and it was probably one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen, because Pentagon Jr. is a dude who does not give a shit about anyone's safety whatsoever. And then add Chris Hero to the mix. Oh my god, that's a beautiful fucking match. So I'm gonna put a tag team on this list because, well, it's my list, and I want to fucking put a tag team that I really like. So there were 3 tag teams back in the Attitude Era, which everyone adored and loved. And it was kind of one of those things when you were in school that you would say, like, oh, I like this team. Oh, I like this team. No, fuck you, I like this team. And my team was the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Probably the greatest high-flying tag team I have ever seen in my life. Mainly because of the fact they really were daredevils in the ring. They were daredevils in extreme matches. They probably are, to me, one of the best tag teams next to the Young Bucks out there. Those are two of my favorite tag teams, and I've seen there's matches of those two fighting, which is, like, weird because age did not work well for the Hardy Boys. They do not, like, they don't seem like their old selves, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't catch up with it. I was really a fan of, like, that tag team because of the fact that they, much like Pentagon Jr., they didn't give a shit about their own safety. They just wanted to put on an amazing show, and they would put their lives on the line just to get a cool spot or do something pretty amazing. I'd like to think my favorite match out of all the matches I've seen with them is one of the triple threat tag team matches that they did with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian. The reason being because they were TLC matches, basically because they were it was their wheelhouse. It was their whole thing. Like, they fucking loved extreme matches. And probably one of my favorites of it was from WrestleMania, where Edge speared Jeff Hardy off of a ladder while he was trying to grab the belts onto the floor, which was like several feet in the air. It's one of those like iconic visuals that you see when it comes to wrestling. And I remember just going back and watching that over and over and over and wondering how Jeff Hardy did not die. Like, that was beautiful. It's a shame though that what they're currently doing in TNA and doing singles runs and whatnot. I mean, they've had good singles runs, but this is getting pretty ridiculous. Up next, I have a newcomer, Kevin Owens, otherwise known as Kevin Steen back in the indie days. Kevin Owens is, the reason why I like him is because he's one of those guys who, like, he may be a bigger guy, like, he's, like, I want to say in his 200-pound range, he may have a gut and whatnot, but the thing about him is he has, like, he's worked in the ring so long, he can do basically anything. It's not like one of those guys, like, not to use it, like, he's not slow in the ring, he moves all around, he's fast, like, he's a really fast motherfucker in the ring, and he does a lot of cool stuff that you don't expect a guy his size to do. Even though he's been in the WWE for a short time, my favorite matches of his were the John Cena matches. I would watch those matches again just because of how good and how solid of matches they were. Like, it was new, it was fresh, because John Cena's known for basically being like a superhero in the ring. Like, no one can stop him, no one can beat him, you know, that whole fucking, he's super amazing, but Kevin Owens is a good, like, he's a good antagonist when it comes to being in the ring, and he proves that he deserves to be there. And if you don't believe me, there's a match back in Ring of Honor that he did. I think it was at Final Battle with El Generico, and it was called Ladder War 4. I think it was just a ladder war, basically a ladder match. That match showed me that he is insane in the ring, and he really deserves to be up there. He was the Ring of Honor champion, and I believe he will be the WWE champion at some point. Just given, it depends how much time, but give or take, he will be up there. When we're talking about new superstars in WWE, this guy has a legacy in Japan, and I would say easily he is up there in my favorites. Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura is a guy who, he comes off as like this flamboyant Michael Jackson looking motherfucker, except Japanese, but when you get in the ring with him, he is deadly. Like, he's got running knees that will fucking knock out a motherfucker, and like, he's got some of the best things I've seen. Like, he does, like, his finishers are mainly like the running knee, otherwise known as the Bomaye, or in fucking NXT, the Kinshasa, whatever it's called. But aside from that, he is like, he's got like arm bars, he's got the 5 knees of doom. He's very good in the ring, and it's funny to see, like, he's got that bravado, yet he comes in the ring and he's like just deadly. Like, that's so beautiful to see. And you know how I said that Wrestle Kingdom 10's match was probably one of my favorite matches of the year? Well, his other match that he did, his debut match in NXT, is my favorite match of the year. Given everything that went down, he took it from me. Like, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas is easily my favorite match of the year, like, bar none. Just because of how the crowd was reacting to it, how everyone was taking it. I remember being over my friend's house, and we had to watch it back because it was just so magnificent in scale. Like, these two dudes they weren't even the main event. They weren't even the main event at all, and they overtook the entire show. Like, it was probably one of the hypest matches I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. And to be honest, I'm going to be absolutely excited when Shinsuke Nakamura debuts on the main roster, because he's just a treat to watch, and I'd like to see him interact with people like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles again. That would be a great one. I want to see him do some stuff like that. Even Brock Lesnar, because they've fought before in New Japan. So now I'm gonna just say this. This is probably my favorite wrestler of all time. Not for like technical reasons or anything like that. Not for like his moveset. Not anything like that. His character was the thing that really stuck with me ever since I was a kid, and I will always love him for it. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the kind of character that, as an adult now, I kind of identify with as the guy who's like, I don't give a shit what you say, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want, and sorry, that's nothing like me at all, but oh my god, I love him so much. But he's that guy who, like, he doesn't carry, kicks back, fucking opens up a cold beer and drinks it and flips the bird, he does all that cool stuff. His storylines with Vince McMahon were phenomenal. I loved him. I loved every second of him. And my favorite matches of his were probably with The Rock, specifically the match at WrestleMania 17. No matter how you look at it, it could be that, or him versus Kurt Angle, him versus Triple H. Even when he was doing the two-man power trip, or the creepy heel sort of thing that he did when he was with the Alliance or whatever. That was beautiful. Stone Cold Steve Austin, easily one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want me to talk about more wrestling stuff, please let me know in the comments below. I'm curious as to what you guys like. What are some of your favorite wrestlers? What do you guys like? Do you agree with this list? Do you think my choice in wrestlers is pretty goddamn shit? Let me know. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. This is Smarty, signing off. Have a good one.